Hi everyone, it's me Audrina again here with your next instalment of Where Did Your Heart Go? We're now up to chapter 16, so let's get going. It was the weekend of the Midland Dance finals and Charlotte was a bundle of nerves as I helped her gather her outfit together so that she wouldn't miss the bus. I noticed that she looked radiant and extremely excited all at the same time. "Shall I keep my fingers crossed for you?" I asked before she went to catch up with Julia and get their seats on the bus. "God, I'm so excited," breathed Charlotte as she sat down next to Julia. "Mitchell?" Julia replied. "Yes, I've already texted him today saying I'm looking forward to seeing him again at the competition." "You have got it bad," Julia laughed as she watched Charlie get her mirror out of her bag and check her makeup. "You look fine." "Fine's not good enough. I want to bowl him over the first moment he sees me," Charlotte replied, smiling back at her reflection. The best journey seemed to drag by, but soon they were outside the grandeur of the LG Arena again. There seemed to be a heightened level of excitement and nerves buzzing around the whole place. This time they had to perform two dances, a repeat of their winning dance from the heats, followed in the afternoon by their new dance. As Charlotte and Julia wandered around, she was suddenly startled to hear her name being called. "Charlie! Charlie!" She turned to see Mitchell running down the corridor. "Mitch," she breathed, feeling the blush spread over her face and desperately hoping he wouldn't notice it. He stopped in front of the two of them, and there was an awkward silence. "I'll go get us a bottle of water," Julia said. "Nice to meet you again." "How are you?" they both said at almost the same time. Then both laughed and looked away. Charlotte could feel herself shaking with nerves. "Fine. Bit nervous though," Mitch said as they wandered along towards the cafe area. "Me too," replied Charlotte. "Thanks for sending me the clip of umbrella. It looked great." "You're one hell of a dancer." "Oh, you're not bad yourself," Charlie replied, shyly looking up at him to notice that he was looking back at her. "What are you dancing to later?" "Skyfall, so you better be warned I have a gun and I'm armed and dangerous for most of the routine." "Cool. I'll try not to get shaken or stirred," he laughed, using the famous punchline from all the Bond films. "Well, I better go," Charlotte said as she saw Julia beckoning for her. "Yes, me too. Shall we meet at lunchtime?" "Yes, I'd like that," Charlotte replied. "I'll bring my mate. He said he fancies your mate Julia, so it would be a shame to not introduce them." He laughed, and before she knew it he had leant down and dropped a light kiss on her cheek. "Catch you later." "Later," Charlotte breathed, revelling in the feel of his lips on her hot skin. The morning flew by, and as Charlotte and Julia hurried to the canteen they could hardly contain their excitement at meeting the two guys. The lunch hour, though, was far too short, and they all needed to get back for the second part of the competition. The guys were the first on stage, and this time Charlotte remembered to record their routine on her phone. It was breathtaking to watch Mitchell move across the floor or flying through the air in a series of somersaults. Then it was their turn. As they walked towards the stage, she saw Mitch. He raised his hand to her. She smiled and aimed her fake gun at him, and saw him laughing at the gesture. When Charlotte dropped into the splits at the end of their routine, all she could hear was a wave of applause hitting the stage, as she remained still for a few seconds to gather her breath. They'd absolutely stormed it. All they needed now was for the judges to put them into the top two, who would go through to the London final and get to compete against the rest of the country. All she hoped was that Mitchell and his friends would be the other team. Then it would be perfect. After a break to freshen up, all the groups assembled for the decision to be made. Charlotte almost failed to hear their name being called from the beating of her heart in her chest. They had made it, and so had Mitchell's group. It was fate, it was destiny, and now she had a weekend in London to look forward to, as well as countless more texts and messages, she hoped. As they started to gather up their bags for the journey home, Charlotte found Mitchell and wandered over to him. "I can't believe we both made it," she said as she looked up into his green eyes. "Fantastic," he replied. "You looked amazing up there. Loved the outfit." "You were too. How on earth do you get so high in the air with your somersaults?" "Oh, I learnt at the swimming pool. My dad was a good diver and he taught me. I just transferred it to dry land." "You?" "Oh, ballet and gymnastics when I was younger. Mum let me do whatever I wanted. I think she knows it has paid off. She'll be well pleased to hear she can spend a weekend in London for the finals." "Yes, I think my dad's going to come and watch. I don't see my mum much. My parents split up when I was 2, and Mum didn't want to look after me, so it's just been me, Dad, and my older brother Darren." "Yeah, I saw your brother's name on your Facebook page." I showed him your picture. He thinks you look nice. I think you look gorgeous, especially with your new red hair. Thanks. You're pretty fit yourself, Charlotte replied. Hope we can stay in touch between now and the final. Yeah, perhaps your mum might let you meet me sometime. Perhaps for a wander around the Bullring shopping centre? Is that a date? Yeah, I really like you, Charlie. I want to spend some more time getting to know you, if that's okay. Breathing slowly, Charlotte could hardly believe the way this conversation was going. He liked her enough to want to spend more time with her, and she hoped her mum would say yes. God, I'd love to, Charlie replied in a daze. I'll ask my mum when I get home and drop you a text later this evening, and we can arrange a date. There was a pause. Before she could say anything else, he caught her hand in his and pulled her into his arms. You definitely stirred me earlier, he murmured into her ear. As ever so slowly his lips came down to hers and they kissed, a kiss so seductive and sensual that Charlotte could feel her legs trembling. Don't forget my text later, he said, as he pulled away and started back towards his rehearsal room. I won't, Charlie replied, unable to move as she watched him walk away. She now knew exactly how her mum had felt when James had walked away. A pull, a longing in her heart for more. Would there be more? She really hoped so. He turned and waved just before she had a chance to move. She waved back and smiled as she turned and ran back to where Julia was waiting for her. Today was the best day of her life so far. Craig a long-distance memory as she relived the feel of being in Mitch's arms and his kiss on her lips. Oh, what a kiss. On the way home she thought of the way that Mitchell made her feel. As the coach pulled in, she saw her mum waiting and quickly raced over to tell her the good news that they had got through. I noticed over Chinese that Charlie seemed to be waiting for the best moment to say something. What's eating you? I asked as she looked up from her phone. Can I go shopping in Birmingham for the day? With Julia? Well, not exactly, but Julia can come if you'd rather that I didn't go on my own, she blurted out. I spotted a blush rising up her neck. Go on. Mum, I met a guy at the dance competition and I met him again today, and he's going to be at the finals, and he asked if I would like to go on a date with him as long as it's okay with you, she said, hardly stopping for breath. Well, perhaps if Sarah and I decide we would like a day out in Birmingham, then you can go, so long as I can meet him at the same time. Okay, but you'll have to be cool. I don't want you or Aunt Sarah to embarrass me in front of him. Would we? I laughed. Yes, you know you would, Charlie laughed, relief that her secret had been sprung and a positive outcome reached. What's his name? Mitchell, or Mitch for short. Mum, he's gorgeous, she sighed. How old? I think he's 20. See, this is what he looks like, she said as she pushed her phone across the table. He's the one that does all the somersaults. I watched with admiration the wonderful dance routine that unfolded. He's a fantastic dancer, I replied, handing the phone back to her. I can see why you fancy him. Mum, Charlie blushed and then disappeared up to her room, to no doubt let Mitchell know that they could meet, so long as he didn't mind meeting me at the same time. Once in her room, Charlotte danced with joy. She was going to see Mitchell again. She hoped the fact that her mum would be there when they arrived would not put him off. What would she wear? What would they talk about all day? Would he still like her at the end of the day? So much to think about as she stretched out on the bed. And after sending Mitch a text, she settled down to more of her mum's diaries. She wanted to know how long they had waited, who had made the first move. Was sex as wonderful as she imagined it to be when you were deeply in love with somebody? Wow, things definitely are hotting up on the Charlotte and Mitchell front. I hope you're enjoying the story. Once again, just to let you know, if you do want to read ahead, you can buy the book now. It's available on amazon.co.uk or amazon.com. And please feel free to like this video, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe hopefully so that you won't miss any more future instalments. Anyway, take care and I will speak to you again soon. Bye bye.